Welcome to the SJ Child Show, where a little bit of knowledge can turn fear into understanding. Enjoy the show. Welcome to Season 8. Wanted to give our shout-outs. Shout out to Jennifer Hensel, event planning for podcasters. Check her out at womeninpodcasting.net. Another really special shout-out to Julia Pierce. She's the author of The Boy Who Became More Than We Could Imagine. Go check that out today. And Martin Slingstad, founder of Spire Autism, and author of Chatterbox, My Life with Autism. Thanks for joining us today. Enjoy the show. And thanks for joining the SJ Child Show. Today, I have a guest, Donna Conley, and I'm so interested to jump into this conversation and to really get to know more about her and to see how, which as always happens, what I can learn from her and, what we'll take away from today's conversation. So thank you so much for being here today, Donna.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I guess just to start off, tell us a little bit about yourself and what kind of brings you here.
Yeah, I've been on quite a journey. I became very sick and I was looking for physical help, but then I realized I needed more mental, emotional help. And the road, I was diagnosed with depression and all these things. And I couldn't really find the help that I needed. So I went to the internet and, what can I figure out? How can I change my life and heal myself from within? And, so that led me to, I didn't know I was writing a book at the time, but I was journaling and I was doing all of these things. The very first healing modality I discovered on the internet was EFT tapping. And so I started doing that. And after about a year, I was like, is this really working? But then I reflected back and looked at all my journaling and I was like, wow, I'm a different person. My life is the same. I have the same job, I live in the same house, everything's the same, but I was so different, which made my life different. And my friends were like, what are you doing? Because, we notice what's happening with you and it's awesome. So I started this little group. We called ourselves the Sisterhood of Wild Moon Healers. And everything that I was learning myself, at some point in time, I started following lunar cycles to create things. It was, there was a certain point in time where I was like, another full moon. And I still have not even started working towards this one goal that I had. And so that's
almost lost the light. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to fall off the desk. Oh my heavens.
Yeah. So I started following these lunar cycles to see what I can do in a month. I was realizing in some aspects I was taking on too much, in some aspects I wasn't doing enough, and trying to find that balance. And my friends were like, okay, we want to know what you're doing. So I started writing these moon reports and and teaching them what I was learning and my interpretation of these things. And what I didn't know at the time was those reports became a rough draft for my book, Wild Moon Healing. So it's a whole program. It's like a foundation. There's a lot of stuff in there that people know about, meditation. I talk about EFT, yoga, Qigong, anything and everything, but it's heavy on journaling, but it focuses on certain perspectives as you go through a lunar cycle.
Yeah.
So it's like the same situation, but you look at things differently throughout a month to help you, learn more about yourself and actually achieve your goals.
Oh my gosh. And it's so exciting that it's so funny when we align with people that we would have had no idea that we could have had this conversation with. I have autistic children and husband, and it was about probably the year and a half into my son and his therapist. He had in-home therapists and they would come, and every 2 weeks I would be like, he's asleep. I'm sorry. I know that you're here. I know that it's time, but Like I can only manipulate his sleep so much with melatonin, with whatever you want me to do. Like I can only do it so much. At one point, I started doing the same thing, tracking and tracking and tracking. And I was like, wait a second. We are on a complete lunar cycle here. Every 2 weeks, we are sleeping in the day. Every 2 weeks, we're sleeping at the night. Every 2 weeks, and so I started and we've never met. So this is so exciting that we're like, yeah, we could have a conversation with someone that understands and doesn't look at me like I'm crazy. Cause that's what the therapist did, when I was like, look, this has to do with the moon. This has to do with this. And they were just like, what, whatever, like, make your kid go to sleep and wake up at the right time. That's what it has to do with. Right. And that's not the case in any way. And so I really started to look into the chemicals that stimulate our mind and our bodies during those time periods. And the same thing, looking at where the serotonin versus the dopamine fall in the charts and think, okay, well, we're not going to get stuff done this week. And we're definitely, let's start new things this week. And let's not like beat ourselves up or fight about it or, have hard times. And it took a while for the regular therapist that was there all the time to start listening to me and realizing that, look, I'm not like a crazy, like I've done my research. I know what I'm talking about. I can be like, I'm scientific enough, I know what I'm talking about. And it was real.
Yeah, her affirmation of that probably really helped you. But even before that, just embracing that, you know what, we're going to just let things go because this is what's happening right now with the lunar cycle. And why fight it? Right.
Yeah.
It's made your life probably so much better.
Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. And not only with myself or with my son, but with my husband, because I realized, well, wait a second. Then he was diagnosed maybe 8 years after our son. And so I was looking at them going, oh my gosh, they're both on the spectrum. They both have these same biological urges, these needs to sleep on these patterns where they have like download for 6 hours, awake for 16, or, however the cycle goes. And it changes it's like, it literally is maybe like adding an hour or two a day. And so for somebody nobody would understand looking at it and not knowing what they're looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's made a big difference.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. And now you can share that with your friends and people too, that it not only helps your own productivity, but when you can recognize how it can help your kids and how you can help them to feel confident to listen to their bodies, because we tell them, right? We're like, listen to your bodies, but manipulate yourself to do this when I say you should.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? So tell us more about like what you do with the group and the things like that.
Well, right now, I just have a lot of free content out on social media. I'm creating, I've written my book. It's on Amazon and stuff. That was released last September. I'm working on creating some Udemy courses.
Oh, great.
To go along with the book. So that way you hear me talking, but there's going to be a lot of added content, a lot of meditations. I'm going to try some sound healing and see how I can record that. And, so the course is going to be really great. And I'm working on also, I've kind of put it aside. My brain just doesn't want to do it right now, but an oracle deck that matches my book to help you read your own energy.
I love that.
And I am hopefully this summer in this fall, going to be working on some pop-up meditation sound healing classes. So those things, will be in my local area. And I do some craft fairs and stuff. And when I'm there, I have my book, but I do energy healing. I use tuning forks and help people try to help them balance their energy.
That's wonderful. And you are in Washington, D.C. area. Is that correct? So any of my listeners on that side of the I'm over in Utah, so have to send them your way for that fun stuff. If you guys are in the area or if you live in that area, definitely something to check out. So let's talk more about your book and how that, what process that was for you to put all of those ideas and, intentions onto paper.
Writing a book is way harder than I ever thought. Well, actually, writing the book I thought was going to be hard, but it was the whole editing process and everything. I was just like, overwhelmed at times. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, I don't think, but it's like the right people came to me. All the editors and stuff, the ones that were spiritually aligned. They, one of my main editors, her education was in religion and spirituality and all these things. So when I was trying to write something, she was like, I see what you're saying here. You should add this content and, reference this book and, things that I would have never, known to do. But she's like, this is what you're saying. You just didn't know you were saying it.
That's great.
And, just really helped just completely aligned the whole process with people that I needed at the right time. It was just amazing how everything fell together. And I'm so happy with my finished product. Actually,
Please do. Yes.
I have it here. So Wild Moon Healing.
Oh, wonderful.
There it is. Yeah, my friend Charlene Perky, we went to high school together, and she's so artistic and so amazingly talented. So I reached out to her and I told her, a little bit about the book. And I was like, do you want to do artwork for my cover? So that's where my cover came from.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, it's so special and meaningful to me.
Yeah, I love that. That makes it so much more. And then, but you also feel so vulnerable when you're putting it out into the world. I can completely appreciate. I wrote a couple of children's books about my kids and our experience, and the same thing, like the writing of the book is easy. But then you get to the editing part and you're like, what in the heck? How many times do I reformat this thing? Right. And all of the things. But
there's a lot of intimate stories. I tell people about my struggles, and some of them I really had a hard time writing. Like even my editors were like, you're telling a story without telling the story here. Either take it out or just write the story. And I was like, okay. I was like, I need to do this, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So
that's a lot of personal growth to have to go through. I've, in the sense, done that in podcasting and have, gone on to other podcasts and told my story, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I never intended to talk about that in any form, and here I am on a video screen publicly discussing this. But also the catharticism that you get from that, and that you can be able to see kind of, okay, I've been through these hard things, like I'm telling the story because I'm here and I've made it. And now my intention is for somebody else to learn, maybe, hopefully, or to just even, I would hope that they would have a takeaway, or to know that there's somebody that's been through a hard thing that if they're going through.
Yeah. My dream for the world is to eliminate obesity, type 2 diabetes, depression, suicide, 23 a day. I want it to be 0 a day, and all these things. I'm not going to realize that dream in my lifetime, but I'm going to leave an energetic footprint that will help grow, even long after I'm gone. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What are some tips that you might give somebody new that's learning about lunar cycles, or maybe even just how to understand what we're talking about?
We'll start with just the foundation. Everyone, they want to know, well, how do you get astrology into this? Don't make it complicated at first, just the basic is at a new moon, you set your intention or create your goal, whatever words you use that make you feel comfortable, and as the moon starts to grow, that's called the waxing cycle. So you want to create a plan, well, I guess actually I should start over. The first thing you should do is create this big dream for the vision of your life. And I get people into a visualization when I'm working with them to put on a movie. You actually put a reel on there, you hit play, and you're watching this movie because it's already happened, right? And it puts your mind in a certain state to be watching this, and then you start to feel the feelings. And that's the part you have to hang on to. You have to let the picture go, because however you want to feel, that can come to you and look in so many ways that you can't even imagine. So once you have this big dream and then you kind of let it go, but you hang on to that feeling, then you create, okay, for this month, what's my intention and my goal? What do I think I can do during this lunar cycle? And then, as the moon starts to grow, first you create an inspired plan. It has to be inspiring or you're not going to do it, right?
Yeah.
And then you start taking these meaningful actions and working toward your goal. But life happens, right? So if you get triggered, if you find yourself, oh my God, I was doing so good for like 8 days, and then boom, here I am binging on the couch watching a movie. What happened to my plan? Well, my journaling prompts in the book kind of help you look at these things, like what triggered you, because all these things is created from all your life experiences. So why did you revert to that old habit of sitting on the couch? You have to explore it. And, and then you just give it your all. But once the moon is full, metaphorically, it illuminates your path and illuminates your shadows. That in second grade, when someone made fun of you, so you stopped acting a certain way, that's a shadow, and it stays in your body. And it's like, but that's part of your true self. You got to let that shine. But you have to find it. Some things are repressed memories. It's like, you really have to dig for things to get answers. And then as the moon wanes, that's the time where you need to let something go. It can be a frame of mind. I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. It could be something, an emotion, something heavy, grief. How do you let that go? And sometimes you have to forgive yourself. Letting go can look like so many different things. Maybe you just need to be kind to yourself and honor your body. That's the time that you just get nice with yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and it's so important that people in going through processes like this give themselves a lot of flexibility in how they want to do it the same way, and that journaling can be done in so many ways. You can draw, you can write, you can sing, whatever.
It,
Oh, I love that. Cook it. Oh my gosh. I love that. That's so great. I was just looking at Mediterranean meals today because it's something that is supposed to be a good for my body. And like I get whatever my genealogy or whatnot, but and it's so interesting. And I was looking through that thinking, and it was so enjoyable to just look at it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we, without knowing and subconsciously, deny ourselves these pleasurable items or pleasurable times. I know for me, and maybe it's because I'm a mom and I want to sacrifice my time for my kids, which I gotta unpack, I know, but it's like
we all struggle with that.
Exactly. And so I think the general caretaker goes through that probably, but giving ourselves grace and time, and like allowing ourselves to enjoy putting the music on and listening to your favorite genre of music, or just however you let go or just embrace being happy.
Yeah. But everyone's like, well, where do I start? I don't even know. Just get quiet and listen to your body. Your body's going to tell you. It could be something big, like your body is like, you drink till you black out. Can you please stop doing that? You eat way too many sweets. You watch too much TV. That's why your joints are getting stiff. You need to get up and move more. Your body can give you your goal for the month if you listen to it.
Yeah. And you definitely, just like you said, can find a quiet time to kind of go within and really set the intention, maybe wait till it's a new moon so that you can set that right intention at the right time. And those things are easy to find. You can Google, if you have the Apple phone, you have that app on there that shows the stars and when the moon's out.
Exactly.
Easier to track these days than in the, when they were tracking it by sand circles or whatever.
Yeah, it's funny. My dad was like, we have a full moon every month. I said, yeah, Dad, it actually happens every month. He notices the full moons, but he didn't realize that to a calendar,
Yeah. And maybe for us women, we're a little bit more understanding of that, aren't we?
Yes.
That is so interesting. Well, and I find that it just really knowing, it's like having that information and knowing what you know. Sometimes you don't always live that. Mm-hmm. You got to be reminded sometimes, like these conversations where I have to maybe plot my next little calendar out to be, these days might be days that might be slower. And I might want to just take a little bit more time to be kinder to myself. Or on these days, I know I'm going to want to hit it really hard. So maybe I should plan some really fun things that I want to get done and not wait to the days that are the slower ones that I'm going to put things off or deny myself those kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's just honoring yourself, giving yourself grace. It's just such a big part of it.
Definitely. We have to, first off, yeah, that's it. Give yourself grace. You have to be able to say that I deserve this. I'm going to put this in place for myself and then start practicing it. Right. And, my husband's always like goal and accountability and timelines, It's like, okay. Right.
Yeah.
I'll start the next thing. And I don't always listen. And it's always like, you should have set a goal and accountability and a timeline.
Yeah. I have some of my, what I consider bad words, try. Because in my mind, when you try something, you're already giving yourself an out for failure.
Ooh.
I'm going to try this, but if it doesn't work out, so don't try something, just do it.
Yeah.
Do it and then see what happens. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but don't try, because then you're kind of really setting yourself up for failure. I'm not a big fan of the word willpower because people who are not honoring themselves, people who have all these energetic leaks, my term energetic leak is anything that drains you, and you try to go after something when you're drained, you're not going to be successful, and people use willpower and some people, it really hits them in the gut. Like, well, I really did try, it's like, well, you weren't in the right place to go after that goal, and, so some words like that, it's, it kind of hits people in a way that it makes them feel like a failure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
I posted something today. Some days I love to do like daily quotes, and I was really good for a couple of years, and it feels like I've fizzled off to a day and a half now, maybe, or so. But anyway, today's it was something to the effect of, not everyone's ready for an idea that you might have, but don't ever take for granted planting a seed. Yeah. And I think that that's so important to keep in mind, is that when we want to have these types of discussions, be it spiritual or, religious, whatever, with anyone, with our spouse, with our friends, with just always keeping in mind that when we meet people where they're at, we say that and do it with children, but we need to do it with our relationships in general a lot of the times, because we can't always force or, expect other people to understand the processes that we've been through.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yep. Everybody is going through something, and whatever it is somebody wants to change in their life. And if they're thinking about using lunar cycles to help create this change, it wasn't one thing that got you where you are. And it's not going to be one thing that changes it, Sometimes a lot of people are like I told a cousin of mine today, I said, start listing everything you're thankful for. I was like, it might sound silly. A lot of people are like, whatever. I'm like, if you focus on what you're thankful for, it elevates your energy. You feel a little bit better. So little
Oh, that really is true too. And there was a time when we were kind of, my husband and I've been together. It'll be almost 20 years, 19 years this year. So it's been forever. Thank you. And when we were really, young in our relationship and working things out, we really like held ourselves accountable for our honesty, because that was a problem that we had both suffered with in our lifetimes. And as embarrassing and, unfortunate as it may have been, the healing process out of that and the realizing, like you said, there was, in kind of trying to coach other people and help other people in relationships, there's something we've often told them is write down every white lie that you think that you say each day. You realize soon enough that, oh my gosh, like, am I holding myself enough accountable to really be there? And it's made such a difference in our relationship, and being able to be on the same page and being able to share spirituality kind of in the same space and in the same timeline, because I think that, we all go through our different things at different levels sometimes, but it's been so nice to know that, like, we've been through so many hard times and it's been so long that but there's always still so much growth too. It always surprises me when we learn something new. And
one of my favorite comments that someone wrote in a review about my book is that I've learned there's much to learn. There's always new things to learn. There's always new avenues of growth. And that's what helps fulfill a life, is just, going after things, investigating, just, if you were always interested in the solar system, but since 5th grade, you've kind of thought about it. It's like, go study it, go after it. That's what interests you. Buy a telescope, adventure doesn't stop when you grow up.
Yeah, we forget that too, I think. And sometimes people just get in these mundane lifestyles and schedules that they keep, and it's just never ending, never changing. And in that, they lose that sense of adventure and curiosity and that wonder, to try new things and everything. And I just recently visited my 96-year-old grandpa. I had his birthday with him.
Wow.
And one of the things, unfortunately, he is in some stages of Alzheimer's, but 95, like, he was up till 93 still taking college courses, still learning things, until he couldn't literally anymore. I do too. And it just is so refreshing and so, like, what a great role model and a great way to show everyone, like, never stop learning. You're never old to stop learning. And I believe, and he knows, that it kept him as young as it did.
Yeah.
So bless his heart. Oh, it's been so nice to get to know you. And I'm excited to check the book out. Let's talk more about that real quick so that we can make sure everybody knows where to find it. So show us the cover again, and tell us where to find it, and the website and everything. If you have a website as well. I
do. Wild Moon Healers. You can get it on Amazon. It's Kindle, audiobook, and print. You can get it on Barnes and Noble. Most places that sell books, you can buy it. My website is Wild Moon Healers. A lot of people get it confused. The book is healing, but my website and all my social media is Wild Moon Healers. Wildmoonhealers.com. I have icons I can get you to my social media pages, but I'm Wild Moon Healers on Facebook, Instagram.
Great. Yeah. We'll have all that in the show notes so that we can, like you said, link directly to it and go and check it out and support her. And if you haven't given the lunar scheduling and, that type of healing and support a chance, then, hey, here's your time to get out of those regular schedules and try something new and really put some thought into this. I just recently posted a Facebook article about it. So people that know me on Facebook and everything, go check that out. Find out more about the chemicals that are, acting or reacting, and however you want to call it, in your body at the time of these moon cycles that are happening. So you can plan for better productivity, better ease with your children's sleep schedules. For those of you who have those crazy neurodiverse sleepers on your hands, and better support for them as well. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been a great time. I appreciate it. And I look forward to staying in touch.
Yes, thank you.